Hello folks, welcome back. This is Chris in Central Pennsylvania. Now, a few things about that DJ Sbu interview a few weeks ago when I was in South Africa. First, I was invited onto the program by DJ Sbu. I have no reason not to go on his program. He's an interesting guy involved in the music world, has a huge audience, and has interesting conversations. So I graciously accepted the invitation, went to his place, and when I arrived there, was surprised to find Nota there. I didn't know that he would be there. I also didn't know that this would be a filming of a Mondays with Nota. I understood it was an interview with DJ Sbu. So that's number one. I accepted it. I was a guest. You don't back out once you're there. There's no reason for me to back out. Number two, I had no idea that Nota would be part of the interview. I sat down with DJ Sbu after we started about an hour late filming something else for his content, or someone that works there's content, a dinner thing. After we finished filming that, I sat down, and then Nota sat down, and I was a bit surprised. I said, "Nota's sitting down here?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "You do realize that I've rubbished him for his race and merchant comments?" And he goes, "Oh, you know him?" I said, "Yes, I'm aware of him." And Nota says, "Yes, I know the Colonel as well. I've subscribed to his channel." So that's a couple things about the interview that people should know. There was no reason for me to be a rude guest and back out, number one. Number two, I was invited on the program, and I went. Number three, I didn't know that Nota was going to be there. That said, the comments that have appeared on DJ Sbu's channel, I want to thank some people for the comments. I liked how people said it's interesting to see people who disagree have an adult conversation. We need more of this in South Africa. I agree 100%. 100%. And that was my objective once I realized that Nota was going to be there, was to be an adult and having a conversation, an exchange, to show that people who disagree can, in fact, act like adults. So thank you for those comments, those who made those comments. Now, a number of people who've commented on the channel who are not my viewers, who clearly watch other content, have proven themselves to be nothing but dyed-in-the-wool racist. They're idiotic comments. First off, listening to some moron, or read some moron write, "Listen to this YouTuber, an American YouTuber, lecturing black South Africans." Well, first off, I didn't lecture anybody. Second, I'm not a YouTuber. You are a lazy, lazy fool. I'm a political scientist and a historian, and an African historian. So do your research instead of opening your cake hole. I'm a published author in academic circles by Stellenbosch University and by the U.S. Army War College. I'm also a journalist and publish in popular press, in defense industry magazines, and in newspapers. So stop being a lazy turd and do your research. Just because my skin pigmentation doesn't satisfy your racist worldview, that doesn't make me simply a YouTuber. Do your homework. I'm a polyglot. I speak multiple languages. I've lived more places in Africa than virtually anybody on this planet. And I've worked in virtually every country in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. So before you run your cake hole and start making stupid comments like that, do your research. Next, this idiotic nonsense that I work for the Central Intelligence Agency. I still find this hilarious. This all started with right-wing lunatics from down under who claim that I work for the CIA with no evidence whatsoever. I suppose it's interesting because some people watch the channel because they think I work for the government. I don't. I receive a retirement check for my 36 years in military service, and I'm grateful for that. I earned it. But that's the extent of my contact with the U.S. government. I don't work for them. I don't interact with them. Well, to be fair, that's not entirely true. I do consulting work as a third-party consultant for some contracts that occasionally involve the U.S. government, teaching people about Africa and also teaching general officers about multinational operations. So there you go. But I don't work for the government. My paycheck, my daily paycheck as a consultant doesn't come from the U.S. government. So you're a fool. You're a liar. Stop your nonsense. But if people think I do, and that's why they come watch the channel, they discover the channel, more on them. All right, so we've dealt with that stupidity. Now, the next stupidity. He's using coded words. He's just telling the racist narrative. Look, I'm sorry if you're so stupid and uneducated that you don't believe in anthropology, in genetics and DNA, you don't believe in linguistics. If you're that dumb and lazy not to believe in those academic disciplines, those scientific disciplines, which prove for a fact that the Nguni-speaking peoples migrated to Southern Africa. You're not from there. Everybody's from somewhere. Why are you so ashamed of where you came from? It's a matter of fact. And you arrived in Southern Africa long before the Europeans did, 14 to 1600 years ago. So there, you want your OG title, there's your OG title. But you weren't there first. The Khoi and San were there long before you, and they weren't there first. They were there for 50,000 years or so, according to the evidence we have. There were also people, hominids like Homo naledi, who were there millions of years ago. So this nonsense about who came first is ridiculous. White South Africans are South Africans. They're born there. They're South Africans. Their heritage goes back generations. So stop your racist nonsense and stop making racist assumptions about me, just trying to claim that I'm just telling a narrative. It's factual, it's history. If you don't like it, that's your problem for not liking the truth. It just shows what a dyed-in-the-wool, die-hard, black supremacist racist you are, if that's your narrative. I don't have anything to gain from this. It's just a statement of fact. You know, the Native Americans that are in North America, they weren't here first. We now know from archaeological evidence that, in fact, there were multiple waves, and many of those people who originally died out. And the continents were depopulated once again of Homo sapiens. And then they came again. And the ones that are here now have probably been here for about 10, 15,000 years or so. So what? What's your point? Stupidity. Idiotic stuff. And for you asswipes who said that I don't care about people, that you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know my experience in life. You're just a racist bigot. Your assumption because my skin is pale that you know who I am or what I've done or where I've been, you're just an ass. Grow up and stop being such a fool. You don't know where I grew up, in housing projects, 300 families, only 3 were white, being beaten up for being a 6-year-old white kid by black neighbors. Did that make me hate black people? No. It made me hate the jerk off that was attacking me because he was 3 times my age. You don't know where I lived in a poor district in Buffalo, New York, where everybody spoke Spanish because they were Puerto Rican. I don't know why they're in Buffalo, but I was there. You didn't build HIV clinics and save thousands of lives, if not tens or hundreds of thousands of lives in Africa. You didn't build schools and clinics to teach kids how to read and write. You didn't hunt terrorists down to protect people. You didn't write for the President of the United States and save 640,000 black Southern Africans from starving to death because of the determination and grit and the analysis that was correct. I did that. So stop your projection of your racist bigotry on me. People are people. And dumb, stupid people come in all colors. Stupid people should wear signs. And if you're a racist bigot and make such stupid, uninformed comments because you see my skin color on that broadcast, well, here's your sign. Stupid people should wear signs. That way you wouldn't ask them questions. Now, to my audience, I heard a couple people say they were disappointed that I did this interview. Well, I'm disappointed in you for not being objective. For those of you who act like I'm like some savior for certain groups of people, I'm not. I'm simply an honest person with the experience, the forethought, the ability to predict things relatively accurately, well, actually very accurately, and who treats everyone fairly. And if that bothers you, then you're watching the wrong program. To my audience, if you're disappointed I did the interview, then you didn't listen to the interview. Because I didn't let Nota get away with what he said. I pointed out that what he said was wrong and hurt people. Simple as that. So, objective, informed, curious viewers are what we look for. Not white supremacists, not black supremacists, not leftists, not right-wingers, but people who care about themselves, their family, their country, their neighbors. That's what my channel's about. And that's why I accept the interview invitation to go on and speak to DJ Sbu. When I found out that Nota Beloye was part of it, I didn't get up and take my toys and throw them out of the pram. I continued the conversation. And I will give Nota a lot of credit here. You know, he said some absolutely horrific things, but he was a gentleman and an adult in the conversation before and afterwards, and very welcoming, which makes me wonder if the stuff that he prattles is something he actually believes. Doesn't seem like it. It seems to me like it was for attention, but he'll have to speak for himself. For those of you attacking Nota Beloye for talking to a white man, you're a racist. You're a bigot. You're a fool. You're part of the problem. Those of you attacking Nota for being a gentleman, you're an idiot. You're a fool. If you don't like that, well, then maybe you need to find a new hobby. Thanks a lot, folks. That's my response regarding the comments, good, bad, and outrageous, for the interview that I did with DJ Sbu. Cheers.